All right, so Brent, I just have a question for you.
Okay,
So on the Sixth Sense episode, we talked about if we believe in ghosts or not.
we did.
You know the question I'm going to ask you for this episode, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Do you believe in aliens?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I kind of knew this was quite. You were kind of going to go with this direction.
of course.
I,
We're
I
talking
just said,
science today, so let's
right.
talk.
We
Let's
gotta
talk aliens for the
let's
preamble.
talk aliens. Because I was thinking, did we talk aliens when it came to Interstellar?
No, because they weren't aliens.
It was like fourth dimensional beings.
Yeah, but then like McConaughey says that it's actually just them from the future or something.
Sure.
And there are no aliens in Interstellar, so that's probably the
Right.
closest we've gotten to. No aliens in Phantom Thread or Boogie Nights didn't have any aliens.
Okay.
Unfortunately, so
I guess that leads us to aliens today. Then.
yeah, I guess Signs is our first true aliens movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, absolutely. I like, again, this is just like one of those things where it's like the universe is just too fucking big, right?
Right.
As soon as you start going down that rabbit hole, you're like, oh, like there just mathematically must be more things out there.
Absolutely.
I don't think that they've ever visited Earth, nor do I think probably that they ever will, just because of how big the universe is.
Small chance of them finding us.
Very small chance, right? Exactly. But yeah, it does just feel like they're out there, right?
Yeah, I mean it's the math says that they are right. Even and also like even if like because we have found supposedly like this week there we found like an ocean type planet out in the distance.
Oh, see, you're more plugged into this than I am. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no, actually this summer I've done a deep dive because I've seen so many shooting stars, and they're just I love space.
So they found Miller's planet.
They found Miller's planet, and if you find chances are if you find a planet with liquid water, you're gonna find some organism, even if it's small. So that's an alien right there, even if it's not.
That's the kind of shit I'm thinking of. Yeah, I don't think that there's like Martians like out there dominating.
Oh no, I think there's some of those out there too. There's some.
That'd be cool.
There's got to be some advanced. There's someone out there is advanced. Like something's out there. I want to believe that. There's no evidence of that, but we did send a little probe beacon out there, like the Voyager 1 and 2.
Yeah,
we got a couple things that are interstellar, or one thing. The Voyager 1 is interstellar. I mean, it's out. I mean, yeah,
it's just way out there.
Credited with taking the first family portrait with our entire solar system. Yeah, we're a tiny little 0.32 of a pixel blue dot. Just that's how far away it was.
Completely irrelevant in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. We got 80 years in our like quote unquote years, and that's it. And just
yeah, we mean nothing. as soon as I start thinking about that shit, I'm just like, right, okay. I none of this matters.
Yeah, I should just be happy. That's
exactly.
That's what that tells me. I should
let me get through my like quick 80 years on this plane of existence and just die and just not worry about anything.
Right.
Anyways,
so the answer to the question is yes. I
think I do too, bud. Welcome to Film School Dropouts, everyone, a movie podcast in which each season we cover a director's full filmography. This season, we are covering the films of M. Night Shyamalan, and today's episode is on his 2002 alien thriller, Signs. My name is James, and I'm here with that damn Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington brothers.
I'm mad with anger. Oh, what does he say? You gotta...
I'm insane with anger.
Yeah, there you go. That's I'm insane with anger.
No, say your real name.
Brent. My name is
thank
Brent.
You, Brent. My co-host, Brent.
Yeah, I hate saying my name.
Really?
It doesn't roll off the tongue.
It's got bad mouthfeel.
And no matter who I meet, I always have to say it twice. They're like, "What?
Brett? Is it Brett?
Every
Brad?
single time, and it's just annoying."
Bart? Is it
Brad?
Bart? Brett? Brolt? Anyways, yeah, we're talking science today, but do you want to do some little movies content first?
Little movies, yeah, I'd love to do a little.
Why don't you kick things off?
Okay, well,
I'm waffling between the two that I want to talk about, so I'll let you go first, and then I'll figure out what I want to do afterwards.
Well, I did, I like to play kind of into the episode.
Oh, okay, all right.
Since the episode was a little scary, with Signs. I did a scary movie again because I don't think they get enough love. I'm still in the 90s. We're doing 1999.
Okay.
It's by a director named David Koepp. I think it is Koepp.
David Koepp?
That might be it.
He has Koepp.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Okay.
Say, what is it? What's the pronunciation?
I believe it's just pronounced Kep.
Okay, well, we might be destroying his name, but whatever. No, this is his only good movie. And there's like,
fuck you, David Kep.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is awful filmography. There's only like 4 or 5 of them, but this is his best. It stars Kevin Bacon. It's called Stir of Echoes.
Ooh, I've heard of Stir of Echoes. I've never seen it though.
It's good. Solid ghost flick.
Because this was the same year as The Sixth Sense, and I think this movie just got like bodied by The Sixth Sense. Like this movie made no money, and like people just sort of just not like derided it, but like, you know, it just sort of got buried by The Sixth Sense.
Well, I could see that being The Sixth Sense and all, but it was definitely. I remember watching it.
Being a fan.
Pretty sure we rented it as soon as it came out, and a lot of creepy visuals. And like I said, a decent twist, decent cast, and it's a lot of fun. It's creepy. It's scary. It's scary. You know, for me. It's a little. I don't know. It's scary compared to a lot
Freak you out.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon. I
love a side of bacon.
Yeah, love it.
All right. Well, I think I'll go with a new movie today. I just actually went and saw it today, literally like 2 hours ago. Just got back from the theater to see this movie.
And you saw Shang-Chi last night.
I saw Shang-Chi last night. I saw this movie this morning. Candyman.
Oh.
I'm only going to say it once, though.
Don't say it 5 times.
Well, I'm sitting right in front of a mirror, so that
say
would be
what?
really... I'm not going to say it.
No, you got 4 more. You can go ahead.
Candyman.
Okay, that's 2. That's not tempted.
Exactly, because I'll probably accidentally say it again.
Did you see the original?
You know what? I've never seen the original.
Okay, the original's incredible.
I know. I really need to get... I wanted to get to it before I saw the remake, and then just the timing worked out where I was like, you know what? I'll just go catch it really quick this morning.
Okay. So how'd you like it?
It was okay. I thought it was fine. It was not great.
Okay.
It's gorgeous. I think it's a very good looking movie. The cinematography is really fun. The use of mirrors is brilliant. And I know you're a big fan of this. Some of the best kills I've ever seen.
Yes.
So like, honestly, I think every kill in the movie was like, at the very least, like I got a little smile and I was like, that was pretty fucking good. That was pretty nasty. So
nice.
Good stuff. Good stuff
that.
There. Yeah. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is very good in the movie.
He's the lead. Yeah, I've heard.
It's a little, even though it's only 90 minutes long, it's a little overstuffed. The director Nia DaCosta, who's actually directing The Marvels, that's her next project. She kind of seems to have a lot on her mind and maybe didn't pick anything concrete to land on. So the movie just seems a little bit confused with what it wants to say. Okay. And I think the last 15 minutes, I was just sort of like, wait, what the fuck's going on? Because there was just like a lot of lore building in the last 15 minutes that I was like, oh, I didn't realize that this movie was going to try and like do some weird legacy shit. And yeah, it got a little bit overstuffed, but I mean, it's generally pretty good. Like I said, at the very least, great kills.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, Candy. Oh, I almost said it again. I think that would have been 3. Mr. Candyman. Does that count?
You're trying to. I don't think you can make a play on. You can't trick him like that. You're not Mr. Mixophiliac or whatever.
I'm just saying, if I pronounce it like, instead of saying Spider-Man, if I say Spearman.
No, you can't do that. I don't think you can mess with Candyman like that.
You don't like it? Okay, all right.
Wait, so do I? Do I have 5? Because
it's a separate thing. I think everyone.
Okay.
At least the rules of the movie. The rules of the movie Candyman, the film, not the man. The work of art is what I'm referring to. It's different. It doesn't count. That leads me to believe that each person has to say it.
No, you can't get away with saying Candyman.
Oh man. Okay, but yeah, that was mine. I thought it was okay.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool.
I think you should check it out. I think you dig it. Just for the violence alone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah,
I probably should try to see it in theaters because that's
I
spent more often than not horror. It benefits horror movies.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I went pretty early today, and there were only like 4 other people in the theater, but it was still more fun than watching it in my home at 11 o'clock where the sun's coming through and like putting a glare on half the TV. So yeah, go to the theaters, folks.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's it for me. You ready to Ready to
Talk
go
about
to
science?
Yeah, you ready to go to the farm and check out these crop circles and stuff?
I think I am ready.
What can make geometric shapes the size of a football field?
What kind of machine can bend a stalk of corn over without breaking it?
Can't be by hand. It's too perfect.
So the aliens can't read our minds.
Oh.
Some animals around the county have been acting funny. Some of them violent. It's almost like they act when they smell a predator around.
Amman, Nairobi, Bangalore, and Jerusalem as the
Same
latest.
shows on every station.
Every station?
It is the 18th reported crop site in that country in the last 72 hours.
I'm a little scared. All this stuff on TV. Joe Gills was in here talking about the end of the world.
They're staying in the shadows. It's called probing, to make sure things are all clear.
Clear for what?
For the rest of them.
There's a monster outside my room. Can I have a glass of water?
Ground forces are being
Before anything, I want to say the cornfield setting, terrifying. Yeah.
Very, very scary.
Yeah.
In any situation, not just this movie.
Like if I'm in the middle of a cornfield, I think I'm scared.
I'm not a fan. I feel like the cornfield is often used. I can't really off the top of my head think of it. What?
Children of the Corn.
Well, there it is. There's the big one. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of comes first to mind. When
you don't go to that one. Yeah. You stay away from those kids. So, but yeah, very scary setting for sure.
I always wonder because I'm 6'4" if like
you just peek your head up above.
Yeah. Or like, and I can jump. So it's like, I should be able to navigate decently, but there's a lot of times they'll be like deep, like kind of like an ocean of like, I don't know. I've just seen like, it's just too much corn.
Yeah. Too much corn. I agree.
And
this country's full of just scary corn fields.
But yeah, underutilized setting. I do want to ask, when was the first time you saw this movie?
Again, at my dad's when I was like 12 or something.
Okay. This is part of that binge you were telling me about?
I think this was the last one. If not, The Village was for sure. Okay. But I'm going to go on record right now. We're just going to get this out of the way up front. I have never in my life been more scared watching a movie than I was the first time I watched Signs.
Okay.
I'm not saying this is the scariest movie ever made because I am an adult and I have grown up a little bit and movies just don't scare me in that way anymore. But when I was 12 and I watched this movie for the first time, that was the most frightened I have ever been watching a movie and ever will be, for sure. This movie scared the piss out of me.
Okay, well, this is a scary movie, so that
it is scary. I'm not saying this movie's not scary. I think it's quite scary and effective.
And it's okay. Well, we got also talk again, like I kind of did with. There's a huge crowd of people that will never enjoy this movie just because they don't. There's a large portion of the population that just don't like aliens or anything that has to do with aliens.
Oh, you think that's the problem with this movie that people don't like?
I think that is one of like there's.
I think
the group of people that just like, oh, I can't watch this, and they won't even give it a shot.
Sure, you're talking like people who are just kind of stuffy about like aliens, like
aliens, like like I'm not watching you know what I'm saying, and it's just they're out from the get go, and I see, I don't feel that way about any movie. Like
I
don't hate those feelings.
There's nothing you could say about any movie that would get me to be like. Just based on that alone, I'm not watching. Like I'll fucking watch anything,
Sure.
Yeah, no. So this is a scary alien movie. What was the first time you watched it? Do you remember that?
So this came 2002.
Yep, 02.
So I was in high school.
Okay.
I mentioned with The Sixth Sense that like a few of us, I think, went to the drive-in and watched it, and it was a bit dark.
Yeah.
I'm like 90% sure we did it again with this one.
Wow.
And it also was a bit dark. As a matter of fact, the first time, spoiler alert, when you see the alien that we'll talk to on the
Don't
roof,
think that's a spoiler alert.
Well, when we
this
see
is a movie about aliens.
Right.
But yes, go on.
I missed it. I didn't even see.
Oh, bummer.
The very first time I missed it. My cousin was like, "Did you see that?"
No,
and I was like, "No, what was it?" Right. But I mean, it's whatever because I loved it. I couldn't get enough. I think I watched it a bunch when it first came out, and
I've
I
seen
don't
this movie
usually
so
do
many
that.
times. Yeah.
So
yeah,
it was great. And yeah, about high school drive through again.
Hell
Too
yeah.
dark though. Too dark.
Yeah, I don't go to those. I've been to like a couple, but yeah,
They're
that's
so
the
much
exact
fun. I love supporting them.
No, I'm all about them. I've been to a couple and like they are fun, but as far as going to see a movie for the first time and like wanting to get into it, like that's not the right environment for me.
Well, you just got to pick the right. You can't do horror. Like most of the time, horror movies are darker. I feel
Yeah.
so like we did Ant-Man and the Wasp and like the newest Jurassic World. It wasn't a good trip for
that sounds like a rough doubleheader.
Right. But they were bright movies, so it was like
sure.
I don't know, passable.
I see what you're saying.
It's
anyways,
fun,
yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to. I mean, we could probably just get into talking about Signs. Well, let's talk about Mel.
We got to talk about Mel, don't we?
We got to talk about Mel. Let me also be upfront about Mel. He's not a great person to talk about.
Well, it's just we're gonna have to eventually deal with like these beasts like Kevin Spacey and just like different,
Yes.
But Mel is obviously he's no Kevin Spacey. Like,
no,
I don't want to put.
He's a famous. We'll just get it out of the way. Mel Gibson is a famous womanizing anti-Semite who shouldn't work but gets to keep working for reasons I don't understand. And with all that being said, he's also one of my favorite actors to watch act. So it's just a complicated thing. I love watching Mel Gibson movies.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty.
He's a great actor and a great director and a horrible man.
Yeah, I think he's also a great director. I was going to say.
Yeah.
You can't talk about like he has too long of a career. He's been in,
Yeah. He has a very long career, and he was also like one of the hottest leading men, of his time, if not the hottest for a couple years there.
Yep, he was everywhere. I mean, especially by the 90s for like that's a big 90s guy for me. So it's like
Yeah.
No, I remember they would put his picture. I'd be walking down a video store and. His big, it would be like the cover, the box art would be just his beautiful blue eyes and Forever Young.
His
that's
puffy
hair. Well, Forever Young is the one I always remember. Like, okay, that's well, I don't know. When I thought of Star, I was like, I don't know. That's my mom always, the blue. It's the blue eyes, and it's like that. Wasn't he like the first big Australian just to be like?
I mean, he was a big part of like the Australian new wave because he was Mad Max. Like that was such a huge movie for that country at that time, and he was the lead. So yeah, he's a huge deal coming out of that. He worked with George Miller and Peter Weir, two huge Australian directors who we will definitely cover one day. We'll cover both of them, I'm sure, at some point.
Well, Richard Donner too, like
sure, yeah. You're right. All the Lethal Weapons. Yeah, of course. I don't know why I was scrambling for a second, but yeah, of course, all the Lethal Weapon movies. So just, he's whatever. A big star who is a terrible person. And like, oh, well, we don't support him, but I can't help that. Like, I fucking grew up watching all of his movies and I love watching him act. There's tons of guys like this.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to support him, but he keeps putting out.
I mean, I don't.
Like,
it's the thing. It's like now it's easy for me to just be like,
Ridge.
Hacksaw was good. I know. Hacksaw was fucking good, man. I don't care. Apocalypto rules. Let's stop talking about how good he is. I mean, he's great in this movie, whatever, we like him. Let's just like move on with it. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally get it.
Because, there's other people in this movie. We got to walk the walk again. Joaquin Phoenix is back. We get to talk about him again.
Having a blast here.
I think he is having a blast. I love him in this mode where he's just like, I don't know. I'm like the third or fourth lead of the movie, and I get to just like be a normal, just kind of guy who runs around and is whatever. I don't have to be insane Joaquin Phoenix. Just having fun.
Third or second.
You think so? I don't know. I count the kids.
Oh,
okay. I definitely count.
Kids are great.
Yeah, I mean, you got Rory Culkin and Abigail Breslin. This is probably the worst Culkin, right? Out of the three Culkins, he's probably the least accomplished.
There's a third Culkin.
Yeah, you got Macaulay, obviously the Omega. Macaulay, the Alpha Culkin.
Okay.
Then you've got Kieran Culkin, who's like second. He's the beta. He's the best. He's like the other one. He's really good. He's in like Scott Pilgrim. I think he's the one in Succession.
Okay.
Kieran Culkin's all over the place. And then Rory he's in this movie, and I don't really know him for much else. And he's great in this movie.
Scream 4, so don't.
Oh, yes, of course. Don't sleep on the third sequel to a parody movie.
It was solid. It was definitely way better than the third one. So
that's crazy to me. Oh God, maybe we'll talk about it someday. But
hopefully,
this will probably be the only Rory Culkin movie we cover.
That's just that sucks.
I mean, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying he's the worst Culkin.
You're saying he's what is that? The Zeta Culkin or
yes.
Wow. No,
he's
you
pretty
brought
good
up
in
a
this
good
though.
point with the Kieran with the Scott Pilgrim one there.
Yeah. Kieran Culkin rules.
There's a couple good. Well, that's sidetrack. Anyway, let's talk signs.
Yeah. Okay. The movie starts with some really great opening credit sequences and fucking
the scariest opening credit sequences.
I love these opening credits so much, even though they kind of don't have anything to do with the movie at all. Like it's like this like pale blue light, right?
Right.
That color has nothing to do with this movie. Like this movie has like no blue in it at all, aside from like the sky, maybe. Like it's not like it's a very brown movie. You know, I mean, it's weird that the opening credits have this like stark pale blue light, and it's awesome and it looks great. And then just the rest of the movie doesn't have that vibe.
Well, it's based around like I've never seen. Okay, I watched this pitch black, cranked up the volume.
Yeah.
And the very first, it comes up, whoever, Touchstone, whatever, Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, boom, it comes out signs that it's a jump scare.
Yeah, because it
right
starts
off the bat.
Yes, because it starts
right off the bat
with like their fades.
Yep.
And then once it actually starts doing these like smash credits where the name will just like smash into the screen with this incredible what is it, James Howard again? Is he?
Yep.
Yeah, three in a row.
Yeah, this is actually might as well say it now. It's my favorite of it. This is my number one. Absolutely. And right off the bat because it's these high string, just
it's very Hitchcock. It's so Hitchcock.
I was thinking Carpenter. I was thinking it was like,
oh, I guess so. It's just not synthy enough for Carpenter.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, big Hitchcock. And then, I don't know. I love these fucking credits. They're so good. I could watch them just by themselves and just have a good time. Then again, I'm just a big opening credits fan. So,
well, we're looking at
it's a lost art.
Every aspect of, and one thing that I've came to appreciate from watching all these movies is like, the first one that comes to mind is Boogie Nights. But no, this one is definitely going to be one that I'm going to. I've never had jump scares from credits.
Yeah,
and he keeps spamming it too. It's just like
does.
Jump scare, and then right off the bat, it's like you see the house and. He sits up right off the bat, like he kind of jumps. Yeah,
the movie
it's a jump
starts.
scare. It's a jump scare into frame with Mel Gibson's face, like,
and the movie just starts with like something's wrong. Like the thing I love about this movie is M. Night wastes no fucking time. Like there's no bullshit. Like, okay, we got to introduce all the characters and what they do, and that's all woven into the movie eventually. I just love that this movie starts off and he like immediately runs out and there's a crop circles and it's like, okay, boom, let's go. Everyone buckled in because we're just gonna go.
Yeah, I mean it's breakneck speed.
I don't even think it's like rushed though. It's just like, why waste time? Why do we have to do anything else? Let's get to it.
It's not like when I say breakneck speed, I mean going from scene to scene throughout the whole movie. It's not like I never feel rushed because he takes time to build this kind of like,
right,
I don't know, this overwhelming sense of dread throughout the whole thing. Like
it's so good
because I
can't explain the thing about Signs that I've always found so fascinating is I can't really explain the feeling that this movie makes me feel. It is dread, but it's also like it's not like the fear that I get from this movie isn't like, oh no, what's lurking around the corner, or like, oh no, something's coming after me. It's so much more like universal, where it's like when they turn the TV on later in the movie and the lights are just hanging in the sky and you're just like, oh my God, like something terrible is happening to the world.
That's dread.
It is dread. I know.
The word we're looking for is dread.
But it's not dread the way that like I get when I watch like Dead Ringers, where I'm like, oh God, like it's nothing like that. I don't know. It's very unique. This movie, for all of its, I don't know, flaws, I guess, if you want to call them flaws, like I think this movie is sort of one of a kind.
Absolutely. It's M. Night. Like this is what he does. He comes up with these creative ideas that we haven't seen before. And
it's such a basic idea. Like
absolutely.
It's literally like, what if Hitchcock made an alien movie? That's literally the only pitch that this movie really is.
He does put
his suspense alien.
He puts his religious spin on it, and
which I love. I think it's great.
It works here because because what would like a person of like hardcore faith like do if like their whole like reality was shattered by these, you know, extraterrestrial objects in the sky.
horrible death of his wife.
Right. Well, that's the first thing. That's the backdrop right off the bat. The very first thing you see is a framed family photo of him in his collar. So efficient storytelling. Boom, right there. Like you're already getting
then he hits you.
Back.
Then he hits you over the head with it by having a faded cross on the wall where like there was a crucifix hanging for years and years and years, and obviously that made like a dust imprint on the wall, and now it's not hanging there, so there's just like a hollowed out part of the wall that there's a crucifix, and you're like, I get it. Okay, I get it. He hasn't washed that yet in the last 6 months since his wife died. He just left that dust print on the wall. Okay, sure.
Okay, all right. Well, you didn't see. He actually was a hardcore smoker, and that's in the paint now. So
I see. Okay,
right.
They cut around that.
No, you don't see, he got rid of all the ashtrays and all that. You didn't see that happened before.
So he goes out to I definitely don't want to go like scene by scene with this movie, because like this is a very like set piece movie.
Absolutely.
And I'd rather just talk about how good like the couple of awesome set pieces are. But yeah, he goes out, there's crop circles. His brother, who lives, I guess, in the guest house or something like that, is Joaquin Phoenix, right?
I don't. Yeah.
Or does he live in the house? I thought he lived like in like a shed or something like that, but I could be wrong.
Because you see, the first thing you get is another jump scare scream, and he rolls out of bed.
Yeah.
And you don't really see where he was sleeping at.
Yeah. Either way, he lives on the property with his brother. So
looked like the attic of the barn.
Maybe that. Yeah. Sure. Let's go with that. That's cool. That's a cool vibe. And like pretty much right away, like there are crop circles. Mel Gibson is like, oh, it's that fucking Lionel Pritchett and the Wolfington brothers, which I don't know why. I just love the phrase Lionel Pritchett and the Wolfington brothers. It just, for me, it just rings so true of like, those damn rascals, Lionel Pritchett and the Wolfington brothers.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, pretty solid right there.
Great name.
You get the zoom out, the big zoom out.
That's a great like helicopter shot.
Yeah.
And it looks kind of shitty because like I think M. Night like pushed that lens's zoom to the max because it's really grainy in the close up, and then once it actually zooms back out to like where it's supposed to be, it looks really great. But he like pushed that camera all the way, I think.
Well, he wanted to get that money shot.
Oh, yeah, and also my boy Tak Fujimoto is back behind the lens, so this thing looks fucking incredible. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, I can't tell you how many times I love how, like right off the bat you see there's like one of the earliest shots. I think when he's walking around after he hears a scream, it's like pointing up from the stairs on an angle.
Oh yeah,
and you just see him walking, and I'm like, oh, that's badass.
Great, it's so good.
A lot of long shots.
Yeah, not as many as Unbreakable. It's not like it doesn't go that hard, but like you get some longer ones here, but nothing that really stuck out to me the way that Sixth Sense and Unbreakable have.
No, yeah, I will say not as many.
No,
but the ones that were there were pretty effective.
Yeah,
for me. Mm-hmm. We'll get into the big one later on, but
okay, cool. I don't know. That's pretty much it for like the beginning. Like there are crop circles in this dude's farm, and he's dealing with like his crisis of like faith, right?
Well, right off the bat, when you hear that scream, you're already moving. The audience is like, okay, got to find out, and he gets you off rolling so quick.
Yeah, this movie doesn't let you calm down, does it?
No, it does not.
Even in its slowest moments, like you're still sort of like, okay, but there's fucking aliens invading, right? Like I love the angle of like it's an alien invasion movie, but it's from the perspective of people who like don't live in super urban areas. So it's like it's almost like, wait, what do we do? It's like they have more time to like dwell on the terror.
45 miles outside of Philadelphia, of course.
Bucks County, can't get too far from Philly. But yeah, it's just like I like that angle where it's like you watch War of the Worlds and those aliens attack, and it's really frightening and like sudden, and there's people running around the streets and all this stuff. But this movie, it's like the aliens attack and everyone in like Bucks County is like, wait, so what do we do? Like we have so much time to like dwell in this terror, and like it's such a good angle.
Well, it is. It's a smaller cast. You don't get a lot, but other than maybe the sheriff on really like, and and M. Night's character about like how other people in Bucks County. So I mean, again, it's a smaller cast, but no, I do love seeing the rural aspect of it, and it's it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the sheriff really quick, like Sherry Jones.
Well, that's the next
sheriff
thing.
of this town.
Then the very next thing that pretty much happens is she gets a little pop-up jump scare, like she's in the house, like the camera. She's like, oh, right there. You don't hear the door open. She's just
right.
And he's like, oh, it only took you 20 minutes. And
yeah, then she tells this disgusting story about an old woman who like spit all over the fucking skateboard shop, and like she's like, yeah, it looked like fucking a Cronenberg movie. And like, it just, I was like, and as she's describing all the spit, I'm like, this is disgusting. I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, it is a pretty disgusting the way she
grossed me out.
But I thought she was solid throughout the whole movie.
I love Cherry Jones. Yeah,
as I don't want to say monotone, but she gave off that like that old timey. I don't know. She was like
she's very country folk, like tell it like it is. Like, and because she's sheriff, like there's also, or is she sheriff or is she just an officer? Either way, like she has that kind of like, I'm in charge around here, folks, sort of vibe. I think she's great in this movie.
And right off the bat, when they go out to the crops and she's like talking about how no machine could have bent over the stalks of corn without breaking it. And you're like, oh, like I like how she's like, oh, now I got to do some questioning. Like she's also investigating. Like no one feels comfortable in this movie.
It's so
because good. Well, what would like honestly, if you were put in this situation, what would you do? Like this is terrifying, right?
I know exactly what I would do if I lived in Bucks County and I was Lionel Pritchett and the Wolfington brothers, and this weird shit started happening. I know for a fact I would go straight to denial. Like I would just be like, no, that didn't happen. Like
you're kind of like being like Graham here. That's
kind of. Yeah. Yes.
He's like throughout the whole time or the whole film, he's kind of a big time skeptic. Like he even tells that story. He's like, no, this is, and like, that's what makes it so good later on is when you kind of see his faces, like when he's coming to this realization, like, oh,
it is. Yeah. And it's a very one by one. They all start to slowly believe, like at first, even Joaquin Phoenix is not into it. And then you get that great shot of him wearing the aluminum hat with the kids. And then he just becomes obsessed.
Classic.
It's great. But yeah, I just know for a fact if I was put in this situation, I would go straight into denial mode and be like, no, everything's fine. We should all just keep going about our day. Like, this is nothing. Like,
so that obviously the next question is there has to be a point where you get on board. And
I know, right?
There has to, like, at one point you're putting on an aluminum hat.
Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Everyone has that point.
My big problem with this movie, I think I've got like some problems with it. It's not a perfect movie, but like my big complaint of this movie completely revolves around the fucking library book that they get.
Oh, okay.
I hate the library book. I hate every time they talk about the library book. I hate every time fucking Rory Culkin is like talking as if he's a scholar because he's reading out of some book. He's like, yeah, next they would invade us. And I'm like, how would you know that? This is a unique alien race. You have no fucking clue. This guy obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. Who wrote the book? Every time they like use the book as if it's an actual like basis for what's going on, I get so mad.
Oh,
and then I get even more mad when M. Night's like, no, the book is right. I'm like, God fucking damn it.
The book worked for me. I'm not gonna lie.
The
serviceable for the.
Oh, it's so fucking lame. I do love the image of their house in the book with the dead, charred bodies. That's
awful.
That's some scary shit.
Right.
When Abigail Breslin's like, they have our windows.
That's awful. Like that's I'm no, because I think I agree for the most part. I would be a skeptic. And then just the more evidence I see, the more the meter.
So do you go into panic mode?
When you know what sends me into panic mode? When he goes and investigates outside in his field, the flashlight gets dropped. He picks it up.
Oh God! And then he sees that sexy alien leg. That fucking that alien pulling a straight Claudette Colbert, just showing off its gams.
Oh my God, I'm freaking out, and
I thought, okay,
Gibson destroys that when he gets scared right there, and I'm just like, yeah, no, that's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm out of there. I don't know. like, I know that's probably like, because my mind would go to landing spot first right off the bat, and it's like, no, I got to get away. Like,
yeah. I think we should talk about
no,
right. So like what's the first scary thing that happens in the movie? I guess.
I mean, the dog barking at,
fucking terrifying.
Yeah, like I love dogs. It was a bad boy, and
oh, Brent, it was a bad boy.
Yeah, he started. Sad. That was sad.
That was sad.
You know, he had to kill his
Two dog deaths in this movie.
Yeah, not cool. I'm not
brutal.
Yeah.
I think that is probably the most frightening like thing right in the beginning is when the dog like jerks up and starts growling at Bo.
There's it's a loud bark.
Yeah.
And
that's scary.
And it's very close to them. And I was like, oh
yeah.
That's some good dog acting.
What a pro. The first alien we see is when they decide to run around the house in a circle, because you see the form of the alien like outside the window on the roof. I mean, it's a silhouette.
You get this really kind of, he startles awake because she's like right terrified. Whenever a kid is like right in your face when you wake up, always scary.
Also, Abigail Breslin plays this part as if she's like a ghost child. Everything she says is monotone. There's a monster outside my window.
Can I have a glass of water? Like
it's contaminated.
No, yeah, she knows. Well, we at this point we know M. Night can kill it with the kid actors. Like,
yeah, I mean Abigail Breslin's one of the best, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't talk about kid actors without talking about a Culkin and
a Breslin, right? Yeah, come on now.
So yeah, he walks her back, and then he has this like nice little conversation about like whether or not they can talk to their mom and if she talks back.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah,
it's kind of sweet because it does such a good job of like taking your mind off of the first thing she said. The first thing she said was, "There's a monster outside my window. Can I have a glass of water?"
What causes them to go run around then? Do they hear something outside?
Well, he looks up.
Oh, and he sees what it is. And he sees the fucking alien.
But there's like it's a long period of time that she had mentioned that monster. So it's so good at making the audience forget. And then when he just glances up, out of whim, you see it, and it's like the first time I saw it, I got goosebumps just now talking about it.
Yeah, I mean,
if I saw that, no, like,
I'm out.
Dude, I can't.
I watched this movie with my girlfriend, and she like jumped and shrieked so many times, and it was so much fun. Like I love that environment. Like watching it so good. But yeah, like every time that there was anything that could potentially be taken as scary, it worked like a charm on her, and it was so fun.
Was this the first time she saw it?
No, I think she's seen it before, but it's been a while, and I've seen it a bajillion times. So like I don't really jump at the movie anymore. But yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If you watch this with someone that had never seen it, they're going to be fully invested. This is it. I mean, a lot of horror movies in general get kind of, because the more you see the kills, you're not as taken aback. And
yeah.
It's just,
but this isn't really horror.
No, it's not horror, but that works with like all like jump scares or suspenseful things. I feel the more you see it, it takes away the effect. Yeah. That's why I tried my hardest to go into this like I'd never seen it. But oh man, it's so much fun the first time.
It's a fun movie too. Now I want to really quickly talk, because we were just talking about the scene where Abigail Breslin and him are talking about the mother being dead.
Yeah.
And it just got me thinking about Mel Gibson, just thinking about his career, what he kind of stood for in cinema as like the macho leading man guy with like, I think the thing that I like about Mel Gibson is he is very conventionally handsome, very kind of your ideal of like the male leading man. But the thing that's cool about him, and then I think the thing that set him apart from so many other people, is he has this mania in his eyes. Like he has these wild eyes, and you get that in Mad Max, obviously, like fucking like in spades, and you get it in Lethal Weapon. That's why he's so fun in Lethal Weapon, is you're kind of like, this guy's fucking kind of crazy, And like I think in this movie he doesn't have the mania so much, and I think in this movie, he's interesting because he was the perfect age to play this movie at like the time that he made it. He's sort of getting to be a little older. He's a little bit, I really buy him as a farmer. Like he's kind of rugged and not like super hot in this movie. Like he kind of dresses sort of like a gumpy dad.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything bad. Like I really think like he's kind of perfect in this movie.
It's tough. Well, that's because it's so the opposite of what you would think of Mel Gibson nowadays.
Yes, exactly. Well,
that's
now Mel Gibson I think of him as like a fucking sand demon spit up from hell.
And that's what usually, like, I feel like most people would think of. And it's not. It's literally, this is before any of that, where he's playing like restrained and like,
and he's like just very wholesome. Like, I mean, the scene where him and Joaquin run around the house, and you know, the worst thing he can think to say is "It's time to open up a can of whoop ass" or whatever he says. So what is he?
I cussed.
Yeah, I cussed.
I heard.
Oh man, I love that scene.
Oh, and then the camera's like looking down at them, so they're running around the house trying to like see. Oh, like he wakes him up. It's a funny moment when he wakes him up too, and he's like trying to, you know, and they run out like, "You ready for this?" It's like
he's putting on their
shoes.
It's great.
And then you see the light.
I love the explanation Mel Gibson gives for not wanting to swear. He's like, it just doesn't sound natural coming out of my mouth. And then he kills the scene where he runs around. He's like, "I'm insane with anger."
Yeah, it's great. It's so a lot funny. of fun.
I love that scene. So that's a great scene. And then they get the sheriff in, and they think it's Lionel Pritchett, the Wolfington brothers, my boys.
Well, I just will love the shot of them. Like, look, you hear the noise on the roof, and they both look up, and it's just like, oh, it's just there's a lot of effective shots here without seeing the alien, because you don't see the aliens like hardly at all. Time.
Yeah.
Well, just even when you do see it, it's very brief and like.
Well, I think maybe my other big gripe with the movie is once you actually get a clear shot of the alien, you're like, could have done without that. But we'll get to that at the end.
Oh boy, here we go with the CG.
No, well, honestly, yes, but we'll get to it. Yeah, and then the sheriff comes, and there's that great line where Joaquin Phoenix is like, okay, well, barring the possibility that there's a Olympian Scandinavian jumper in our town, what are we talking about? I love that.
He does a lot with these lines. That's how you know. That's how you know how amazing he is, because the dialogue he gets, I'm like listening to it. It's like whatever. Like, yeah, no, he's doing so much with this dialogue, and it's great. I love his character. Yeah, he's having a great time with it. He's like, but he's like, I'm pretty strong. I'm pretty fast.
Yeah,
I love his because he starts to come to like when you see that jump. And he starts looking around, and his eyes are like, oh, yeah, no, because I feel like I would kind of be on like a Joaquin in this movie, and like it would take something like that to like
freak you out.
Oh, yeah. Like, oh, and there's a long shot of him like wide-eyed, like, wait a minute, like, and he says, "Are you sure that's Lionel Rich?" Like,
yeah,
and I'm like, oh, yeah, I just love that whole exchange, and it's just like every scene is just building.
Yeah, and I mean. It's building in a way that like makes a lot of sense for the setting, because like they are a bunch of country bumpkins. So like I like that they have very like simple thoughts on like what these things could be. And it's like they're not really, you know, Rory is the one who has the most outlandish sort of ideas.
From the very first time the crop circles are made, the first thing Graham does is he calls up and he asks, "Oh, you sure it wasn't?" And they're like, "Oh, they're at the movies." And it's like, those are all realistic things what people would do, like step by step, call the sheriff, you know, like
it's great.
It works.
I guess we should also say Joaquin Phoenix's whole story is that he used to be like a big hotshot baseball player in the town, and now he's sort of like a drifter and doesn't really have his life together. He's just sort of like not figuring out what he wants to do with his life. Oh my God,
that's the most slanderous approach to talking about baseball. He has the 507-foot home run record, and
oh my God!
And he has the all-time minor league strikeout record.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't fucking talk about his stats, dude. I'm just trying to get through the movie. I'm gonna be here for 6 hours. So that's Joaquin. What do we got next? They go to the town and they start
take a little family trip.
Try to get their minds off shit. Yeah. And throughout, I don't, just so we don't have to keep coming back to it, throughout the movie, you get the quick flashbacks to the death of Mel Gibson's wife. and that like you just kind of get that throughout the movie until the final scene.
Yep, just a little segmented throughout there.
Horrible death.
Yes,
like,
this is a
gruesome death.
Very bad death.
She gets pinned to a tree, and like her body gets cut in half, and the truck's the only thing holding her body together.
Yeah.
And as soon as the truck gets pulled away, she's gonna fucking fall in half and die.
Yeah, you would think it would just, kind of just like a top half, lower half type thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the great fucking one of the greatest spoof scenes of all time is the Scary Movie 3 with the hot dog and the taco and the donut.
That's great. That's always gonna make me laugh. But there's one thing that actually I gotta talk about it, because when you get the flashback of him walking up and the camera's like
in Scary Movie 3?
Well, in both, but the camera's walking by and you see like a crowd of cops, and then and it shows M. Night on the ground, and he doesn't say anything. Well, in Scary Movie,
yeah, great line.
Hey, can I get a ride home?
God damn it. That's so good in Scary Movie 3.
It's so good.
And the other great joke
I thought about
from Signs. I mean, is Scary Movie 3 great or what? The other great Signs joke in Scary Movie 3 is every time they cut back to the sheriff, her hat's a little bigger, which I think that's really funny. That's really effective.
That
always gets me.
That's those old hat gags, huh?
Yeah, you put a hat gag in a movie, I'll laugh. Oh man. Yeah, so they go to town, and this is when like the kid gets the shitty book. I hate the scene in the library because he goes like, "You got any books on aliens?" And they're like, "No, fuck you." And then the lady's like, "Oh, actually, yes, third book on the left, bottom row, all the way against the wall." I'm like, you would not know exactly where that fucking one book is. You wouldn't be able to say third.
In that small shop.
I'm gonna bring my credentials. I worked at a Barnes and Noble for a year, stocking. I still every day I still wouldn't be able to say like, oh yeah, that's the fourth book from the right. Because guess what? Every day, someone goes in and looks at your books and moves shit around. Like nothing you can do about it.
I'm gonna say that's a small enough shop to where they don't get that new inventory.
But she was like, yeah, no, we don't have
only one. You know what?
Whatever. That's so stupid. Anyways,
small timey bookstore. No, they ain't selling that many books.
Can we also really quick? So, like, whatever. They go to town. It's fine. Then like he gets the book, and that's when they start like getting obsessed with aliens. I really want to quickly talk about Joaquin Phoenix going to the recruiting office and talking to a character straight out of Mulholland Drive or something. That fucking recruiting officer is insane. He's so strange.
I loved him.
I love him. No, he's very good, but like. He doesn't fit into the movie at all. He's so sinister and weird, and like it doesn't make any sense. And I love it.
No, but then he fanboys over Meryl Hess.
I mean, yeah, he does, but like it's just he has this like horrible grin on his face. You know, he doesn't make sense for the movie, and I think I like it. I think it's really adds to the unnerving atmosphere. Yeah.
Well, because is he enlisting? Like
it doesn't seem like
was that a subplot that I missed? Like,
no, I don't think he does. I think he just goes to maybe do it, and then like Lionel Pritchard's there, played by Michael Showalter.
Oh yeah, I don't know what that's about.
That was weird, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's good. He looks nice.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a little funny moment in there. No, I loved his just again his perspective, the military breakdown.
Yeah,
of that, and I was like, "That's awesome! I love that." And it's like, it's realistic because it's like that's how he would think. He's a military guy.
Yes, I don't know absolutely. I am agreeing. I'm just saying that guy is exuding such a menacing, weird energy that no one else in this movie has. He doesn't make sense for the movie, and I think it's perfect. Like I think it sets me on edge whenever he starts talking because he has this weird grin and he's like. Yeah, they'll come from the skies. Like he's got this.
Everything
so good.
In this movie is, I feel like, meant to give you or to just take you to that place. Gives you that sense of just like, yeah. Oh, and he adds to it because he is weird.
All right, so they go back to the house.
But then he fanboys, and I'm like, oh, I like this guy. He's like, hey, shit, you're Meryl Hess. And I'm like,
that's a pretty good impression. Yeah. Yeah, they go back to the house and they all start to. What is it? They see on the fucking TV that like spaceships and aliens are showing up. Like it becomes apparent pretty early on in the movie. Like, okay, yes, it's aliens. Like don't need to worry about if it is or isn't aliens. It just is.
But then you get this really cool, like, probably, I think it for a long time was my favorite part of the movie, probably still is, when you see Joaquin Phoenix is in there watching TV by himself.
Okay. All right. This is the scene that scared me more than anything in the world. Like, I've never been. No, this is the scene. This is a pivotal scene. And like, this is the only thing I want to spend any actual time not talking about this movie. The scene is so scary to me. Still is. I think it still holds up for multiple reasons. And let's get into it. So aliens have showed up. There's, crop circles all around the world. There's lights above cities. So it's pretty apparent they're here.
I love that how documented it is, because this is kind of, I feel like it's kind of accurate if like they were to show up, like, because
all
they
over the news. Everyone would be TikToking about it.
Yep.
So over the course of this movie, like, whatever, the family is getting more and more into the idea of aliens, while Mel Gibson is sort of the most resistant to it.
Yep.
And Joaquin has put their TV inside the closet to protect the kids from seeing scary stuff, right? Mel Gibson goes in. He's like, what are you doing in here?
Yeah, well, Joaquin was like, I brought the TV in here because the kids were getting too scared, or he said something.
Yeah, and he's like explaining how like their ships have cloaking stuff, because he like that scene's great where he like tracks his finger across the screen. It's like a bird flew across the screen and stopped here and dropped dead. And like,
I feel like
it's all brilliant.
Real dialogue. Like, if
good.
This was actually happening. Excellent.
So good. So Mel Gibson leaves, and this is the whole scene is Joaquin Phoenix watches a home footage video of a kid's birthday party where all the kids see an alien walk across like their driveway. It's so fucking scary. The video itself is frightening because it's like got that grainy sort of like bad looking home video feel to it. Like very shaky,
Yeah, you can't really you're trying as a viewer, just like him, you're following along just like him watching.
And you're leaning in trying to see what's going on.
Yeah,
and then the kids
doing
are all
the exact
screaming.
same thing that he's doing.
Yes,
It's brilliant how he mirrors you.
No, it's a great performance. And the kids start screaming shit, and I love that he's like, "Vamonos, children, vamonos!" He's like yelling at them in Spanish or whatever. And an alien.
That's what you want, because you wanted them to get out of the way. I wanted them to get out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's great.
And I mean, also the video itself is teed up brilliantly by the anchor, who's like, this footage might be disturbing. And you're like, what the fuck am I going to see? They never say that on the news. And when they do, it's bad. So like he sets you up for like, this is going to be fucking scary, which is great. And then the scene just plays out. The alien walks like across the driveway so slowly, Bigfoot style. It's so frightening. It happens sort of quickly, but his motion is slow. All the kids scream in terror. The camera shoots out of the TV back at Joaquin, who like yells, covers his mouth, and then backs so far up into the clothes. Like he retreats as far away from the TV as possible. Like he backs up into the closet. It's so good. And like, I think the scene is so scary. I think what makes it like truly like upsetting is Joaquin's reaction, like a grown ass man backing up into the clothes. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, it's terrifying. I just got goosebumps just here.
I know, right? I know.
Imagining it.
No, just a great. I mean, it's a great bit of directing on M. Night's part. I guess when they shot the scene, like Joaquin, like wasn't. M. Night knew it wasn't working. He was like, it's not as frightening as it should be. And he went to Joaquin. He's like, go all the way back into like the jackets, like just to go all the way back. And Joaquin was like, no, that seems kind of silly. Like. I'll give it a shot, but it seems a little bit like childish for you to do that. He's like, let's just try it. And like, it just worked like gangbusters. I think that's why that scene works so fucking well, is his like extreme fear.
Yeah, because I felt it too. Like, that's again, like,
and the alien itself isn't, I mean, it's like long, it's like tall, lanky humanoid.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
It's the correct. It's
like, I so basic. I love it.
Well, as soon as that it could jump, pretty much, we're told that it can jump onto the roof in a single bound, and we saw how fast it was. That's when I realized I probably can't take it, and I'm terrified. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you're always worried about a battle.
Oh, exactly. And see it humanoid and like that, I don't know, and how it's like it did walk like Bigfoot. And
it has that Bigfoot walk. Yeah.
Oh, it's
creepy.
Yeah.
But it also, like, the difference is when you watch that,
it's fast.
Yes.
Like, And
well,
then
the difference
they
between the
freeze frame on
Bigfoot
it.
walk, because you know what video of the fake Bigfoot walk I'm talking about, right? Where he like lumbers across like the forest. You know,
Yeah.
The difference I think between that is like Bigfoot is like lumbering through the woods in that footage. There's something sneaky about the alien. Like when he walks across, he is sort of slowly lumbering, but he has this like he's doing this like movement
staring
with his arms, and he's staring right at you, like scary.
I don't like that. I
do like it. I like it very much.
And even that first shot of like the balloons in the bushes, it's like you're trying to. Is there a hand or something?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it the movie that scene starts with the camera pointing at the bushes, and you're looking into the bushes. And you're like, oh, is something going to come out of there? Like, what's going to happen? And then the simplicity of like, no, we're just going to have him walk in broad daylight right in front of you. It's like, like
that's exactly like, yeah. You're expecting to see something like creepy and small, and then they hit you with a full body stare down.
Yeah,
of just this.
So good.
And they're like grayish.
Yeah, I mean they just look like traditional.
Oh,
grays.
you know what? No, they absorb color. They're find out later.
Yeah. But then, okay, let's talk about some other scenes here. Let's talk about M. Night Shyamalan playing the guy who killed Mel Gibson's wife.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. I didn't mind it here.
I think it's really bad. I think it's a bad call.
I think a lot of people agree with you there.
I think all right, I understand why he did it. It's a small role. It's really quick, one scene, basically, right? He just tells the story from the truck.
I am not going to pretend to know why he does these things, but
I'm just assuming that that's why he did this role. It's like a small role where you can be like, oh, there's the director. The problem with this is like opposed to the, his cameo in Signs, or I'm sorry, Sixth Sense, and his cameo in Unbreakable. They're quick. The part is small. The problem is
talk about is in Unbreakable, where he's the drug dealer at the.
I guess, but small, right? Exactly, inconsequential.
Sure.
The problem is, this is an incredibly important role. This is the man who killed the main character's wife, and they have to have a pivotal meeting between the two of them about like his guilt over the matter. And I'm just like, well, one of these guys is a professional actor, and the other one is M. Night Shyamalan, who's a good director, but like a very bad actor. It just wouldn't have. It would have made a lot more sense to me to put like a good old fashioned character actor in that. Like throw William H. Macy in that role. Like let's throw someone in there who can like handle the emotion a little bit better.
Well, I think that's this like a lot of the characters are like meant to be like, I'm sorry, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's kind of how he delivers his apology to him. Like, I
just think the scene probably would have like
by my phone for 6 months to call you. And oh, by the way, there's an alien. I locked an alien in.
Yeah, you're describing a bad performance. I don't like your performance, and you're doing a good job at imitating his performance. So I just think like, why wouldn't you want like an actual good emotional resonant moment in that scene?
Yeah, I didn't honestly, compared to what I've seen him act before.
True. Two movies from now, it's going to be a real problem. We got to do Lady in the Water, and that's don't.
I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it. I'm going to only say that 5 times before you die of boredom.
Yeah. I think that everyone's biggest complaint was that he delivered a major piece of the plot, and that the aversion they have to water.
There's that. I don't mind. I don't care if he says that. I just think that he's a bad actor, and why would you? This important role. Have him play the fucking guy who runs the bookstore. Like that's a fun cameo for the director. Don't do this. This is bad.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
Okay, cool. Well, we got that out. But
I think, and honestly, every time they cut back to Mel Gibson, you're right, because Mel Gibson was like fighting back these tears. It's an emotional moment, and it's like, and it's hard. I get it. I get what you're saying, and then it cuts back. And
M. Night's just like staring forward,
right,
doing the M. Night thing. Whatever. Let's move past this. But yes, he does put forth the idea that aliens are afraid of water. And then he also says, like, by the way, I trapped one in my pantry. Like, don't let him out.
Again, this is the second time in this movie where he like just shoehorns this little bit of just like, oh wait, what did you say? Like,
sorry, did you say there's an alien in your house right now?
It just pulls off.
And then he just pieces out. He's like, I'm going to the lake, bitch.
Okay. I guess I got to go check that out then.
Yeah,
really.
Love this scene.
Yeah, it's his effective use of shadow.
Yeah,
because you see it on the ground, and the whole time it's moving, and then when he starts talking, it stops. You're like, oh.
Also, Mel Gibson, incredible in this scene. So good, saying we're gonna bring down the paddy wagon, and then him like silently mouthing paddy wagon to himself, like, why the fuck did I say that?
Right. No,
So
wholesome, very wholesome.
It cracks me up.
Wholesomeness on 10 for Graham here.
Real dad humor shit, and I love it. This scene is very thrilling, I think, where he has the knife, because like a knife is a frightening object. Like just in and of itself, a chef knife, that's Michael Myers' like go-to weapon. It's scary.
Yep.
And he's holding it, and it's making that scraping noise, and he's shaking, and he's trying to see the reflection of the alien. To everything about it is so tense.
Everything, it's a big.
He goes to leave.
Then, that's what makes it so good.
And then he comes back quick.
Leave. Yeah, he comes back quick, and then you get the jump scare and these claw nails.
It's so good.
It's still effective. Still pops out of nowhere. I love. Everyone jumps when the first time they see this.
Well, and again, I think a lot of why this is a scary scene. It is very scary to see an alien's clawed hand come out from under the door suddenly. Obviously.
Like, this is
Mel
two
Gibson
things now.
Quickly reacts.
The leg, he's seen a claw hand.
Yeah, but he really quickly reacts, cuts off the fingers, and yells in fear. That's why again, like backing into the clothes is scary. Mel Gibson screaming in fear is scary. Like it's not like he bravely cut off those fingers. He's like, and he like cut them off because he's fucking terrified.
It's their reactions. That's what we're realizing, because the yell in the cornfield, the Joaquin backing up, Mel Gibson's panicked slice, and obviously there's this is watching it this time, there's a little annoying because seems like there's a scene missing, the follow-up scene, because obviously the alien is screaming. And like
it's true, he doesn't go home and be like, oh my god, guys, I just cut this alien's fingers off.
Like, it's just it's like that's a pretty rough transition there, because there should be a battle right then and there. That alien's busting out of that thing.
Well, apparently they can't get through doors, which is a weird. All right, let's also talk about the weird limitations M. Night has put on these aliens that doesn't really make any sense at any given moment.
I don't think you're shown later in the movie when the handle starts going that they can operate doors.
But then they still can't get through it.
Well, because they wedged it. They put a wedge.
Right, but they did that. Yeah, but then they also do that thing where they like make noise to make it sound like they're trying to get through the door so they can go through the coal shaft. It's
that's just outsmarting them. I like that. That's all badass.
Good. No, that's all good. There's all that. And then Mel Gibson says something like, "Oh, they have a problem with doors," and you're like, "Do they have a problem with doors?"
I don't think they have a problem with doors.
Okay, so that's weird. And then, of course, do you want to talk about the major gripe, which is why did they come to this planet?
Again, that's a bit of I have
a half-hearted defense if you'd like to hear it.
Well, I just think I defend it fully, because there's just not a lot of habitable planets out there. They took what they got, and they found a planet, landed. They just did a bad job of scouting.
Okay, so here's my half-hearted, not even defense, but just like, I'll just talk about it. So obviously one of the big complaints of this movie is like, why the fuck would those aliens go to the planet that's only water if they're allergic to water, right? Like, that's a big ding that people have and like to make fun of this movie for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't buy it, because there's plenty of other things to come here for. Like,
I mean, I buy it. I totally buy it. Like, it's like I understand that complaint. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just like, okay, yeah, sure. It's kind of funny to make fun of that. I guess you could say, if these aliens are traveling around the universe, maybe they've never come into contact with water before and they don't know this. You know what I mean? Like, it's very possible that this is their first time ever going to a planet that has water, and they don't know that they're terribly.
Yeah.
The other thing that, go ahead.
And it's sold even more by the fact that how fast they leave. As soon as they find out, they dip right out.
Fucking piece. Now, they're there for what, a week?
Except for the one that has the vendetta.
Well, because the news said they've left their wounded. Some of their wounded are left behind. So that was one of the ones that they left behind.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. No, okay. So how long were the aliens there? A week, do you think?
Yeah. So like throughout the course of this movie, yeah, I would say probably inside of a week, because it seems like it's all happening kind of quick.
Couple days, right?
Couple nights
now,
go by.
They've established that the aliens have been seen all around the world.
Yep.
They're there for
a lot of.
We'll just say they're there for 4 days, right?
Sure.
And they're all around the world. watching this movie, and my girlfriend goes like, it probably rained on them somewhere, right? And I was like, I never thought of that. Like somewhere in the world over the course of the 4 days, they probably got rained on, right?
Well, that,
like,
I mean,
what's the deal with like they didn't just like immediately go like, okay, we got to get the fuck out of here. Like there's this stuff coming from the sky and it's melting us.
Well, dang, I didn't think of that at all.
No, me either. And I just immediately started laughing when she was just like, what about rain? It's like, oh, right.
Because it does rain here.
All over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that's just a funny moment.
Is there any chance that the world didn't have rain for 4 days?
No, absolutely not. No.
Oh,
come on. Somewhere.
That's the atmosphere.
Right. Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
funny.
Wish I didn't know that.
Just funny to think about.
I get salty over like stupid stuff,
little
like
dumb
that.
shit like that.
Yeah.
I just started laughing. I thought it was so funny when she brought that up.
Damn it. All
right. So yeah, he cuts the fingers off the thing. You want to just get into is there any other like extreme sightings before we get into like them going into the shelter? And
kind of like the third act where it's just pretty much the third act starts with the news again. By the way, the fact that this news, like the one map they show was like India and like not America. I'm like, why aren't you showing like mainland? Because I guess there's probably a lot.
I think India was maybe where they first stopped down. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, anyway, no, it pretty much just sets up with like the lights. They were pretty much vanished in the sky, and then they're all back, and there's like more than ever. And then what Rory Culkin says, they're hostile. And like at this point, Mel Gibson is full on like, oh, this, he's like end of the world type thing. He makes them all. You get into the dinner scene is where we're at.
Yeah. So they decide to shelter up the house. They board up the house and they're going to just wait it out. And they have this great dinner. Oh, we didn't talk. God damn it. We're going to talk really quickly about the scene between Joaquin Phoenix and Mel Gibson where they talk about like fate and miracles.
That's a solid scene. Also, just a real brief I love this shot where Joaquin is just looking out into the field, broad daylight, and it's very windy.
And like nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
I love that shot.
But it does
remind you of like the fear.
Yeah, it's a mechanism of just like, it's just building, and it's like
that's good.
They're out there. Loved it. But yeah, there's that question of faith scene pretty much.
So they're watching the news together, and it's a really long scene. I forgot how long this scene was. But yeah, the whole scene is just like Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix just talking about miracles versus coincidence. And it's sort of just supposed to be like what the movie is about is in this scene.
Sure. Yep.
And it's an okay scene.
Do you accept signs as miracles or coincidence? And you do get a funny follow-up after Mel Gibson. It is long, but Joaquin Phoenix's story about how a girl almost threw up on him, but he looked away at the right second. And
it was good.
He's like, no, I'm a miracle guy. And
I'm a miracle man. Yeah.
It's pretty good there.
Okay, so let's get into the dinner scene, which is very good. They all decide to barricade themselves in, and Mel Gibson's like, you know what, let's have like a whatever you guys want we're gonna have for dinner, and everyone picks out.
Yeah, the camera is like, you get an up close side shot of Mel Gibson's face in the foreground, and like his kids are, and like everyone's in the background, and they're all saying, what do you want for dinner? And he's like, I love how he's just like saying yes to everything, and he's just like, let's do it. And that sounds terrific. And each meal gets a little seems like it gets a little crazier, like French toast and mashed potatoes.
Joaquin is like, I love chicken teriyaki. I'm like, you guys out in Bucks County have shit for chicken teriyaki just in your cupboard right now?
That's what I'm saying. Like Rory Culkin wanted mashed potatoes. They're gonna smash some full potatoes.
I'm assuming they've got some instant mash. I don't know,
and then spaghetti for Bo.
Yep. And Graham wants a cheeseburger with extra bacon. And I'm like, yeah, of course you do. Basic bitch. Actually, it sounded very good, and I would like one of those right now.
Everything sounded good.
Yeah, that's true. So I'd just like Graham, I'd like to have a little bit of everyone's.
So the next shot is them sitting at the table, and no one's eating, and they're all, and Rory Culkin is like already like sad, and he's like, shouldn't we say grace, shouldn't we say a prayer? And then you get just this emotional outburst. It's
great.
It's the money shot.
I don't know if it's the money shot. I think it's like exactly why I like Mel Gibson, where I'm just like, well, look at him act. he's incredible at acting,
he yells at Bo to stop crying, and then everyone starts
but he's crying. He's holding Maggie. He's like, stop crying, but he's like sad about it. And then I got to imagine eating while crying, like shoveling food in your face while crying and conveying emotion has got to be the hardest thing an actor could do. Like he's just going for it here.
So honestly, the family's dealing with extreme grief. Like we saw it in Hereditary. Like it is so, it's so tough to watch. And I think it's done so well here because everyone, you can tell that they're all so sad. Like they're still dealing. It's only 6 months old, right? 6 months.
Yeah, they say it's 6 months. 6 months.
And it's just like this is the culmination of all that grief, and it just overflows here at dinner, and just
Mel breaks down, and then
I love that Rory goes over it. He's the first, even though the scene before he's like, "I wish you were my father," and Joaquin's like, don't ever say that. Don't ever say that." So it's like you wouldn't expect Rory, his son, to do that, but I love it, and then everyone embraces and he grabs over Meryl, and it's great.
It's a good moment.
It's a perfect end of the world. It's like if the world ended right there, that's what I feel like that's what that scene served as, because if the world ended right there, you would feel better, like way better
about it. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that's why right after that is when you're just thrown into the third act with the dog dying outside.
Yeah, so the dog, you hear the dog get eaten.
Left the dog outside. Like, how dare you? Like, oh, great. I'm glad the whole family was there. Assholes.
We forgot Isabella.
Right.
And
then you get this cool shot of like the noises, like kind of walking around the.
You hear them. You basically hear them break into the house, and then they flee down into the basement and barricade
you're getting a lot of cool shots of like the cameras following it's going along with the noises. So like you're watching them look around the house. And like this whole time you're hearing them getting closer and closer. Meryl's like, oh, they're in the house.
They're in the attic. And he's telling. I'm sorry, this annoys me.
There's a whole subplot of him, people wanting him to comfort them. It happens 3 or 4 times throughout the movie. This is the first time he does it organically because he knows he has to for his kids. Because his kids are freaking out while they're boarding up the windows. This is all happening.
Get him in the basement first, bud. Let's go. Walk down the 15 stairs in your house and then do it. The fact that he decides to give this like impassioned speech to his son about when his son was born while aliens are breaking in to the house right now. I'm like, how about you go downstairs first and do this? This is just a terrible moment to do this. I was so mad.
Not a lot of urgency, but
keep going. Come on, guys.
I assume the boards up the. I don't know. I feel like he.
Oh, also, their front door only had one board over it.
It was just one.
It literally had one board over the middle of the door, the front door.
Well, they did run out, so they had to.
Yeah, I think that might have been the one where you start though. Let's get all the doors fucking. Anyways, whatever. I'm nitpicking. So they go down to the basement.
I didn't like. This is probably the most I appreciated that. I agreed with you every time about like how out of place that those little comforting things were. But I realized
I'm the opposite of you right now then, because really? I like all the other scenes of people like trying to confess to him. And him like being like, this is not what I do anymore. Like I'm trying to work through my own grief. And I like the awkwardness of like that situation for him and him trying to work around it. I think that this was just the one time where I'm like, I get what you're doing, M. Night. Let's do this in the basement. Let's like make some common sense, put some common sense in your movie. Let's go. Anyways, we get down to the basement.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as you get that real cool shot of Meryl like looking upstairs, but even before it, and it just shows the attic.
And they're like, oh fuck, we forgot to do the attic.
And as soon as you see the attic, you're like, oh god, like and that's when they go to the basement because they're like, yeah, that's bad.
Yep.
And as soon as I love this, because the second they're in the basement, there's this cool shot of Mel walking down like kind of calmly into the basement. And as soon as he gets down there, he closes the door, and then you hear the noise almost instantly outside of the door. It happens so quick. Yeah. And and then it goes into like this slow mo. You see the handle start to jiggle. He grabs it. That's horrifying enough as it is.
So scary.
and it kind of goes into this weird shot where it's like slows down, and then he says like, I'm not ready. He comes to that realization.
Yeah.
And
well, and then it immediately, like, he's like, I need something to wedge the door, and Joaquin grabs the pickaxe and then swings it and immediately breaks the light, and you're just like, oh god, no, like, this is not what I want. Yeah, that's great. Everything
in the basement is terrifying.
It's pretty great. Yeah,
it's great. All works.
Yeah, I mean, the big scare in the basement is like they find out that they're not actually banging on the doors; they're just making noises to make it seem like they're banging on the doors to divert their attention. And then they figure out, oh my god, this house used to have like a coal mine shaft in it or whatever. So they're going to get in, and then the lights go out, and when they shine the light on Rory, you're like, oh, and then the hand moves to grab Rory, and it's so frightening.
It's still scary, but you get this setup to where like. It's like the camera's pulled back and you see like the flashlights coming closer and closer.
Yeah.
Like they're looking. It's a great setup. And then, it's finished off with that because we find out that their hands this is kind of when
camouflage.
Yeah, they can go camouflage and it's right there. The hand was already there. And it's terrifying.
And you don't see it. And like, even now when I watch the movie,
you don't see it.
Well, yeah, you can see it, but it's so well done. It's not too far one way or the other where you're like, oh, really? They just made it invisible, or, oh, it's painfully obvious. It's so subtly hidden with the grate of that little coal thing. I think it's great. Beautifully done. Yeah.
And the scare is so bad that sends him into an asthma attack.
Yeah, he has his asthma attack.
You get a long, like, fight for your life scene where he's like, and Mel Gibson is just laying it all on the line here. Yeah. Just like just saying how much he hates God for taking it. It's brutal. It's tough to watch. You get a little follow up there.
You know what? Hold on, because that seems actually kind of weird. Because what he's doing is he's sitting behind his son, holding him. They're both sitting on the floor, and he's sitting behind him, holding him, trying to like manage his breathing, talk him through it. He's literally talking into his son's ear, and then he gets mad at God and goes, I hate you. And sort of you could construe it that he's saying that to his son. It's a weird, like, obviously we know, like, as the audience, like, he's saying I hate you to God, but it is weird because he's like whispering into his son's ear the words I hate you, and you're like, I don't know if that's what he needs to hear right now, but I get it, whatever.
Yeah, I agree. It is a little like, oh, like
yeah, and then like basically the next morning they all wake up. They slept for 12 hours, which is insane to me.
12 hours in the basement does seem like, I don't know. If I do, the world.
If I do fall asleep, it's gonna be for like 4, maybe, if I'm lucky. I'm getting like 1 REM cycle in, and that's it.
It does seem like it's quite a long time for them to be.
Even in my tiredest, even if I've stayed up for 24 hours, I don't sleep for 12 hours because I'm a normal human being. Now, I know you're insane, but we're not going to go there. Right. 12 hours is an insanely long time to sleep without the end of the world happening.
Yeah.
Why did he pick 12 hours, M. Night? All you had to say was like 6 hours. It doesn't matter. You don't need to say 12 hours.
I mean, it's a long period of time. What did they drug? You got drugged down there? Like,
what's happening?
Well, it's a long time.
Anyways,
they wake up with the light on.
Yeah. Joaquin found some bulbs, and I think that they were listening to the radio, and they found out that most of the aliens have left.
Yeah. So it becomes this like.
Well, they decide to go upstairs to get Rory's medicine.
I like the little exchange where they grab the baby monitor and listen for a sec.
For a second. Good enough for me. Yeah, I love that. That's great. I mean, and then they go upstairs. This is probably the second most like chilling moment of the movie for me. I think this moment's great
because you're going through this with them, so they don't know what to expect. You don't know what to expect. Is it going to be torn up there? Is it going to be? Is there going to be like a party of them just quiet? Like
you don't know what to expect. Yeah, and they go upstairs. So they're kind of getting comfy.
It seems normal. He puts Rory on the couch, just kind of resting him there.
This is all done in one shot.
This is the money. Like as far as
the one you were talking about.
Yeah, this is so effective,
fucking brilliant. Yeah, so he puts Rory down, and then Bo says she wants to like watch TV, right?
Yep.
So Mel goes into the closet.
Well, people on TV are doing this.
Oh yeah, they're doing the dance move.
Yeah, it's great.
Fucking Abigail Breslin killing it. So he goes and he starts to wheel the TV back into the living room, and as soon as the TV enters the frame, you see the reflection of the alien holding Rory. It's such a good image. It's so scary, and he uses it a couple times before you actually get like the full close up of the alien. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. No, it's really good. It's because what would you do? Like, and you see him like Abigail Breslin. Yeah, he sees that he slowly is like staring at it, and she's staring at it, and the marrow comes in, he stares at it.
It's all good.
It's just like it's really good. I will say that I'm just gonna say it now. His lungs shouldn't have been closed. He was fine on the couch.
I mean, I don't know anything about asthma. Sure. Yeah. All this stuff. The whole end of this movie is supposed to be like God is looking out for you. He's putting things in place for you. All you have to do is open your eyes and like accept that, and like you will reap the benefits of being a religious man. I mean, again, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any of this shit. I do love it when a movie does it though. So like I'm in. Whatever. That's the thing that he's doing. I'm cool with it. It's a little sloppy, but overall I like it.
It works. Yeah, I have no problems with it.
Yeah. Now this is okay. So the image of the alien in the TV is fucking frightening. The image of the alien itself it's okay. It's sort of boring and like, I don't know, CGI wasn't great back then, so it doesn't look great. It doesn't hold up super great.
See, I'm over here thinking it still holds up.
Like, oh, you like it?
Because
I think my complaint is
because it's so he keeps it dark enough to where it's not like I can't see. It's like every single. I don't know. It's faded and dark enough.
Okay.
To where
I don't think it like ruins the movie by any means, but like
it's not like a creature with like crazy teeth or anything, but the way it moves, and I know how fast it is, and it's scary.
Yeah, I think the thing that bums me out about the alien design is like in the next movie he makes in The Village, very practical. The creature design in The Village, very practical, which is obviously like part of that movie, but it looks good. Like it looks scary and like kind of cool. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I think you could have done that here. Like, I think like you could have like just with shadows put a man in like a weird alien outfit and like obscured him, like, and it would have been just as effective. I think sometimes the alien, I'm just like, he kind of does look like sort of like a weird shoddy CGI guy, but again, doesn't ruin the movie by any means. It's not like so terrible. I just don't think it holds up very well.
No, I'll agree with you on that. The Village creature is definitely looks better than the alien nowadays. Back in it was so new and it looked cool.
New,
and,
right?
Yeah, and it looked good back then. And I've seen some bad CGI that has not held up.
I know, yeah,
because of this having that faded kind of obscure look.
Yeah,
it's only going to keep looking worse and worse because that's just
I don't know about that, but anyways,
relax.
Just saying CGI has maybe gone downhill a little bit recently. Yeah. Anyways, the alien like puts poisonous gas into Rory's face. And then I actually thought that this was kind of funny this time around watching it. You get the final shot of the final flashback of the wife dying and her like saying, "Swing away, Meryl." And what she says to Graham is "see." That's the only word she says to him. Like, tell Graham, "see." We cut back to Graham, and essentially you're led to believe like what Graham needs to do is actually open his eyes now and like look around and just like accept his surroundings. And that is what he needs to do to make this work. And it's so funny to me that this sort of almost transcendent message from his wife in the past has made its way to him and now makes sense to him in the present. And it's a very profound moment. And he looks at Meryl and he looks at the baseball bat and he's like, you know what would work? Is if you beat the shit out of that alien with that baseball bat. It's so funny that it's like this profound moment and it just ends with him being like, Meryl, you should beat the fuck out of that guy with the baseball bat.
Oh, man.
I love it. I love it. It's just, it's so funny.
Right.
It is just, it's very like, it's like
very like if there was no message, like chances are of all your options,
he's gonna beat his ass with the baseball bat.
Well, just you're gonna look around for a weapon and you're gonna try to defend yourself. Like
it's just funny.
That's the next step, you know.
Yeah, I just love the profound message. Isn't something like oh, God's blessing is so powerful.
God damn it, you're making me cynical.
I like it. I like it. I like it very much. It's just a very meathead approach to the whole thing where like the first thing he thinks is like
attack,
beat his ass, dude.
That's option one, attack.
It's good. And then Meryl does beat the living shit out of him. And then they realize all the contaminated water that Bo hasn't been drinking was also placed there by God, basically. And this is where you find out that they're like fully weak to water.
See, and I've, again, like another thing that's pretty realistic is I've left like just, I don't like finish.
Absolutely.
Air can, like, I know a dust system does kick up air some
I just do
particles.
it out of laziness. I don't do it because I'm like, it's contaminated.
Oh, no, I know that. No, if I leave something sitting around open, you're
like, no good.
There will be dust and like particles. Yeah. So like that actually is that was sound. Yeah. Like there's a lot of things that held up. Damn it, you made me cynical about the bat.
It's just funny. I like it.
Because I was like, oh, like the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, sweet. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. But no, now I think about that's option one, attack.
Of course you should beat his ass with a bat.
We'll just beat his ass in general and find the closest weapon in their absence.
Yeah, get the star baseball player who swings at everything to beat his ass with a wooden club. Of course. Anyways, that's great. They kill the fucking alien and Mel Gibson finds God, and that's the end of the movie.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
Just the movie pretty much is just how do you, like, it just makes you feel like, how do you stop like an apocalypse that you know is coming? And that's kind of where I was at the whole time. Because what do you do? Board up your windows, and I mean, I guess it probably should have been armed the whole time, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm thinking if someone from Bucks County, Pennsylvania owns a farm, they've probably got some guns too, right? Like,
well, I mean, not even just guns, just like first thing I'm doing is grab the fire poker, just anything. I'm arming myself if it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
I guess there's other people
we could
that
sift
just
through it all day, but
they just pack it in. I've met people that just like, no, I'm not fighting that. I'm packing it. Can I rate this? Can I rate Signs as high as I was gonna?
Do whatever you want with Signs, man.
Because I don't know, you kind of poke some holes in it.
Okay, but movies can have holes. That's okay. You can still love them.
Yeah, you know why? Because I think on the first time through, for a brand new person that's never seen this before, I think if they're open, if they're open to the eyes of not like poo-pooing aliens,
right?
Then they're gonna have a great time. They're gonna see some great acting by the two leads, by all four leads.
Yeah.
Suspenseful, just it's just terrifying. There's a lot of effective jump scares, a lot of subtle scares. It's all very realistic in the dialogue for me. So I'm gonna give this a 4.5 out of 5.
Ding. Nice.
Same.
Nice. No, I'm gonna give it 4. But I love it. I love this movie.
Wow. Yes.
We're on the hot streak. This is the 4 movie M. Night hot streak. I think we're like, he just kills it for 4 movies in a row. It's fun.
The thing that did it again, and it's kind of similar to Unbreakable, is the scene. Like, this is the whole time I'm loving everything, because I think I just love aliens to begin with. Just they're scary.
Fun.
Yeah. But there's a lot of, like you said, it's very scary. But the thing that made it a 4.5 is that emotional dinner scene.
Okay, that's the thing that pushed it over for you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's a lot of heart, and I just loved. That family dealing with real grief. It's real.
It's good.
Yeah, and it felt like I was sitting at the end of the table. Like I wanted to cry with them. And if a movie can make me feel that, then you're gonna get a pretty high score from me. So
right on. Yeah, I love this movie. Scares the shit out of me still. Works like a charm. It's fun.
I will ask, who was your favorite character?
Oh, God. Let's go with the library owner who's obsessed with the soda commercials.
You do not like that character.
13! I don't
First off, they would have seen way more soda commercials than.
Yeah. Probably
13.
Meryl. Meryl's probably the one that I like the most.
Okay. I almost went with Meryl, but I wrote down Father Graham.
Yeah, the thing is, like, as much as I love this movie, none of the characters really pop for me. Like, I like all of them a lot, but none of them are like, oh, wow, this character's iconic. Like, they're fine.
I think I chose Graham for his terrified reactions.
Yeah, he's good.
In the field, specifically the leg.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, man. That was fun, though. That was a good little talk about Signs. I like that movie. Let's play the game first. Let's do the game.
Okay, let's do the game. Who do we got?
Of course, we're doing Mel Gibson.
We got Mel.
We're gonna have Brent guess the top 5 grossing Mel Gibson movies of all time.
All right, so I feel like you got to say Braveheart first, right?
Braveheart not in the top 5.
Okay, well then let's try Lethal Weapon.
Which one?
1, 2, 3, and 4.
2 and 3 are in the top 5. Lethal Weapon 2 is his third highest grossing.
2
Lethal
and
Weapon 3. Yeah, for some reason it was 2 and 3. I mean, 2 makes sense because like it's the follow up to the.
I
big
get 2.
3, yeah, I don't know why 3's in there.
3 is not good.
Braveheart's way down there. Braveheart's like not even in the top 10. Yeah,
love 4.
Is that the Jet Li one?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, of course. Come on, Jet's in it.
Riggs.
All right, so Lethal Weapon 2 and 3 are in his. So you got 3 movies to guess. You need to guess his first, his second, and his 5th highest grossing movies.
Okay.
Let's go ahead.
Wait, this is 90s, so I'm thinking Ransom.
Number 6, right outside the top 5.
Okay. Give me back my son.
Number 1 is a
Conspiracy Theory.
No, that's way down there too.
Okay.
Number 1 is an alien movie.
Signs.
Correct. It is the 2002 film Signs. It's his highest grossing film. This movie made so much money.
Yeah.
I guess we didn't talk about that. Like Unbreakable, not a huge hit. Like a solid hit, but nowhere near as like,
the
box office. Right. It's nowhere near. This movie, he comes right back in just $227 million box office.
Yeah.
400 million worldwide. Huge hit.
I think it had a very effective marketing campaign.
I mean, it did. It's also like incredibly entertaining. Like you can just, it's just like one of those 4 quadrant movies, anyone can enjoy this.
Well, I was like 15. So I think at one point I heard a rumor that there were actual crop circles in the field.
Hype. That's hype.
So.
All right. So number 1 is Signs. Number 2 is a really high concept rom-com.
This is again, 90s.
Not 90s.
What Women Want?
What Women Want, 2000. Yep.
Okay.
Nancy Meyers, What Women Want. A movie I like a lot, even though it is
in theaters.
Highly problematic.
Oh, you know what? I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm wondering.
I think it's really, really fucking entertaining, and he's really fun in it. But yeah, the whole movie is just like the main character fucking hates women and doesn't treat them like humans. And at the end, he's like, "Oh, so ladies have a heart too, huh? Okay." And that's the whole movie.
Yeah, he's a
but I love it.
dirtbag
It's fun.
turned
Yeah.
good.
All right, number 5 is an animated film.
Mel Gibson animated.
Yeah, one of the kind of
So
near
that means
the. Go ahead.
It's not Expendables 3.
No, it is a animated film from 1995.
95 animated. Is it? Can I ask a question?
Of course, you can ask a question.
Is it Disney?
It is at the tail end of the Disney Renaissance, but I think this is considered one of the kind of classic Disney Renaissance animated movies.
I'm gonna go through my little Rolodex here. It's not that. Not that. Oh, I got it.
Go for
Pocahontas.
John Smith in Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Paint with the colors of the wind.
How do you feel about Pocahontas? I haven't seen that one in a long time. That probably doesn't hold up at all, does it?
No, it's not. It's not. I never thought it was one of the better ones.
No.
Well, it just compared to. I was so spoiled as a kid. I got Aladdin, Lion King.
I know.
I got so many good
Pocahontas
ones.
is okay, though, right? I mean, the problem is that movie has a song where people are singing about savages, right? So it's like, probably not great to watch now.
I really didn't even.
I never got into it. Don't even know what that raccoon's name is. I don't know what the character. Yeah.
No.
Anyways,
I had
top
Hercules. 5. There's just so much.
Oh, Hercules is great. Hercules, I rewatched recently. I was like, I wonder if that movie holds up. Like, I haven't seen it in a long time. Loved it when I was a kid. Let's see. Fucking that movie's just gangbusters, dude. I love that thing.
It might be my favorite, just because I've always been into Greek mythology. So.
Yeah, it might be. All right. Well,
so I did really good with.
Yeah, you knocked that one out.
I think I did because it's 90s. I had a feeling with Mel.
Two of them were 90s, I guess.
Well, I feel like he is a 90s guy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought
the only 90s movies in here, though, are Lethal Weapon 3 and Pocahontas. So, I mean, Lethal Weapon 2 is 89, and then What Women Want and Signs are in the 2000s.
Wow. What Women Want is in the 2000s?
The year 2000.
Oh, okay.
It's just made it in.
Okay. Well, I had premiere access. I saw it before when it was 99.
I see. Okay, cool. Just got that invite from Nancy, huh?
Right.
Cool.
No. Let's talk about some future movies. Anything coming up in the future?
Talk about it. Yeah. I'm gonna go as soon as I sign off here. I think I'm gonna go try and watch this movie. It just came out on Netflix today, I believe, or yesterday, maybe. Kind of stoked about this movie. I think it's gonna be good. It is by a director named Sarah Colangello. And Sarah, I'm sorry if I said your last name wrong, but it's either Colangello or Colangello, and her movie is called Worth.
Okay, Worth.
Yeah, it's just a movie. I think, like, for people like you and me who were very young when 9/11 happened, I just think I don't know how you feel about it. I am just immediately like fascinated by anything revolving around that event. And Worth is about two lawyers played by Michael Keaton and Stanley Tucci.
Okay, a couple big names.
And it's just about them essentially in the aftermath of 9/11 having to litigate the amount of money the families of the victims of 9/11 get. And it's like, I guess, the central question of the movie is like, how much are these people's lives worth in like a terrible thing that like this, and it's probably more of like a drama than anything, but I've been waiting for this movie for a long time because I think it got delayed from COVID, and I didn't even realize, but yeah, they just dropped it on Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, that does seem like a pretty heavy topic. Like, how do you decide how much someone's worth? So
right,
I'm assuming it's going to be pretty heavy.
Yes, yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. So how about you?
So I think it might have got like maybe a small shout out on a previous episode, but it is going to come out the 17th, September 17th,
coming up. And
he does have a legendary career as a director. And have we talked about Cry Macho?
Cry Macho. No, we've not talked about Cry Macho.
This might be his last movie.
I mean,
he's old.
I'm surprised he made the last three movies. Like every time he announces a movie, I'm like, is he still alive?
That's what I'm
Clint
saying.
Eastwood,
like,
by the way, we should say out loud, it's Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. And I think we would be amiss to just let his last movie of this long career just go by the wayside without, because I'm sure he's either 91 or 92.
He's old as hell, and he looks like he looks like the Crypt Keeper. Like he's gonna go any day now.
Directing again. And he's starring again.
Yeah.
And it's like, my God, like, I don't know. I just wanted to give a
I'll see Cry Macho. Like, I gotta see it.
Yeah. I mean, I have to, because I fell in love with Unforgiven. It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Okay, yeah.
So he is just by default, like, he's just one of those guys I just have to see it. Even though the last couple, like, whatever. Well, Gran Torino, but he didn't direct that.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Did he direct that?
Pretty sure he directed that. I mean, he started it and he wrote the song.
I know Gran Torino was, for as long as his career was, it was his very first acting nom. All his others
he directed that.
Directing. He did?
Yep.
Okay, so Gran Torino was pretty good. But
I mean, we all agree Sully is like a 5 out of 5 perfect masterpiece. Perfect movie.
I was waiting for that.
Richard Jewell was okay.
Didn't watch that one, but
You didn't watch Dick Jewell?
No, I didn't watch Richard Jewell.
It's not bad.
It seemed interesting. I will probably get around to it.
Your boy Sam Rockwell, Ace, is in that movie.
We'll see. What
He's
am
good.
I doing with my life if I'm not watching?
Cry Macho. He's gonna cry and he's gonna be macho.
I think Macho is one of the characters' names.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Cry Macho.
So, this story has been in development hell for a long time. It's had like 30 years, I think.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? Don't quote me on that. I looked it up before.
I'll edit it out.
It's double digits. It's been
okay.
And there's been different people attached to it over the years. So supposedly this was supposed to be Schwarzenegger's first movie role after being the governor.
Oh, geez.
And he was going to play Clint Eastwood's character. There's been a couple big names that's been attached to this over the years. And
Clint just said, I'm just going to roll my sleeves up and do it myself, huh?
He's like, no, I'm going to just make it then.
We could do Clint. It would be really hard because he has so many movies. But we could do Clint.
That he's directed? He's been a director?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's been directing basically as long as he's been acting. Like since the 70s, he's been directing.
Yeah, that's pretty long.
Yeah, and he just churns movies out. So he's probably got close to like 30 movies. So that would have to be a half and half at least. But
yeah, at least.
I would consider Clint someday. It'd be interesting. Just for the fact, just so I could talk Sully.
Oh, God. No, that's the thing. He's got decent ones. I'm not, but well, maybe we'll consider. I'll throw him on the list. He'll be way at the bottom.
All right. Well, next week we're going to the village.
The Village.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about that one too.
Very excited to revisit The Village. I don't know. That's about it though. You can follow us on Twitter at film_school_pod and on Instagram at Film School Dropouts Pod. We're on Facebook, and just remember to like rate us and follow us and stuff.
As always, thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week with The Village. My name is James.
I'm Brent.
I don't know why I said my name like a question, like I was asking. My name is James.
That's right. I almost said my Brent.
Breb.
Bread.
Bort. Blarb.
Jesus.
All right. We'll see you next week. Bye.
All right. Bye.